And rolling here.
All right.
Okay. And we're joined now by Garry Laidlaw, the head coach of the Central College men's soccer team and the Dutchie winner for both Team of the Year and Coaching Staff of the Year at the 5th Annual Dutchies in late April. Coach, first of all, thanks a lot for joining us. Congratulations on these Dutchie Awards. From my chair, it's just kind of a culmination of what was a fantastic fall for the Dutch. How do you feel about the honors?
Well, thanks for having me on, first of all, Trevor. And I was able to watch the show, and I thought you did a great job under the circumstances. So we appreciate all the work that you put in throughout the year and certainly with the show. Yeah, obviously, I mean, it culminates what's been a special year for us, and I'm sure our guys appreciate it. At the same time, we understand that this is more of a fun, in-house type end of the season thing, and we certainly, recognize the tremendous seasons that both football and softball had in winning their championships, and obviously what the women's basketball team is doing and did this year should also be recognized, which we know it was too. So just a fun year all around.
Well, and how about that, to win 3 conference championships? That I know the standard is there and excellence at Central, but hey, to win 3 of these things is still pretty cool. And for you guys to have won your first is obviously an awesome accomplishment.
Yeah, thanks again. And yeah, I mean, it was a great year for the Dutch. And one of the things that I think makes this place special, and I think I tell you this every time I'm on with you, is just the overall support that all the sports have for one another. I mean, we certainly followed those seasons well, and the excitement that came with those games. And, I think equally that we had so many people come and watch our games and supportive afterwards of what we were able to achieve. So I think it's just, again, what makes Central such a special place.
Now that you've had a few months to kind of let the dust settle from what happened last fall, what stands out to you about that season, and why was it? Why did the pieces seem to come together so well for the success that you had?
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. I mean, anytime you have a special season like that, I think so many things do have to come together. It starts, I think, with great senior leadership. I think most coaches would tell you, looking back on championship seasons, is that they have a great group of seniors that lead well on and off the field and set the example. And that certainly was the case with us this past year. Those guys were tremendous. I mean, not just on the field, like I say, but in the classroom as well. They're just winners in life in general, and really set the standard for the younger guys. In addition to that, we had a good mix of players, new and middle. And, I think you've got to have a certain amount of good fortune sometimes, whether it's a bounce here, a ball in off the post there. All those things sort of have to come together, and certainly that happened for us last fall.
In addition to Team of the Year, you won Coaching Staff of the Year. And I won't ask you to give yourself the virtual pat on the back, Coach, but would you talk about it? It's Coaching Staff of the Year, right? It's not Coach of the Year. Can you talk about your coaching staff and what they bring to the program?
Absolutely. We'll start with Coach Foskett, who is our main full-time assistant coach, really ever since he came in and helped take over for that part of the job as the recruiting coordinator. He's done an incredible job. He works hard. He helps find us good quality players that are good quality kids, that are good quality students. And I think, recruits really resonate with him. They really enjoy his personality. Coach Jensen is a volunteer, essentially a proud alum who is doing great things on his own at the high school level. And he also helps with the club here in town. I mean, he's just passionate and dedicated to the sport. And then bringing that experience, having played with the program, I think the guys feed off that. And then Coach Walter, not a lot of schools, nevertheless Division III schools, are fortunate to have a goalkeeper-specific trainer. And he's out there most every day of the season when we practice, and he gives them that individual one-on-one time. And I credit him for the fact that I think the last 2 goalkeepers that have started for us, different guys, both received all conference honors, and I think only 2 goalies make it. So I think that says a lot about him. And then when you put us all together, we come to the pitch every day, enjoying and looking forward to sharing in each other's company. I think the team and the players really feed off that. They enjoy that. We never want to lose sight of the fact that it should be fun and enjoyable coming to play the game that you're passionate about. And then they also understand when it's time to get the work done and time to concentrate and put that all into practice. So I think it just all comes together with a great group of guys that we've now had for a number of years. And I think that consistency is really important as well. And it works for us.
Team of the Year and Coaching Staff of the Year for Coach Garry Laidlaw and the Central College men's soccer team. But you're also nominated for 2 other awards, and I want to talk about those. One was Ian Mietemeyer's goal that allowed you to beat Co late. I think it was in the 75th minute, a 1-0 win there. Didn't win Moment of the Year. It was up against a juggernaut in that football play, but quite a moment for Ian and your squad. Can you talk through what happened that day that got you that win late in that game?
Yeah, well, certainly hard to argue with the football play because that was something special. So we have no complaints about that. And then you're right, what you say with Ian's goal. I mean, first of all, it was away from home. And so maybe we didn't have as big of a Dutch crowd there, although we do travel well with our supporters. So maybe it got lost a little bit in the shuffle of just how important that goal was. And again, as I mentioned earlier, he's a senior, and he had some other competition for his place the last couple of years. And that made for us, getting even better. But for him to come up with such a key goal with 7-8 minutes left in a game that if we had a drawn, we probably would not have been able to take the title with, it was a really special and critical moment for our team.
And then Taylor Petkovic, who was the first ever All-American for the Central Men's Soccer Program, was up for Male Athlete of the Year. Again, a loaded field. And when you lose out to a national champion, as he did in Will Daniels, you can't hardly feel bad about that. But another opportunity for you to talk about Taylor and what he's meant to this program.
Yes, agreed. Again, no complaints there. When you lose to a national champion, there's no shame in that. And yet Taylor's been so much to our program and meant so much to our program. Again, another guy who gets it done in the classroom, gets it done in the community, leads by example, a highly competitive individual that really brought the level up in training every day, hates to lose. And then he took that right onto the field. And I know sometimes statistics don't always show the true story with Taylor. And yes, he did get his points. He assisted on a number of goals with that great service of his from the flank. And he scored a big goal, I think, in the last game there. But he also was such a good 1v1 defender. I mean, there just weren't a lot of players in the league that were able to get around him. And when you can plug that in every game and just know that that's going to be there, it just breeds confidence throughout the whole team. So a great kid, a great individual, and, obviously for him, a feather in his cap, being our first All-American, and that's something that he'll always be able to cherish, and really happy for him.
All right, so there's 8 awards at the Dutchies. Central's men's soccer program was up for 4 of them, won 2 of them. Just an absolute fantastic year. So now the bar has been set, Coach, right? And now expectations may have been raised a little bit. I won't ask you to go into specifics. I am hearing a little bit of rumblings that maybe there's some turnover within the program as you look ahead to this coming fall. But what is the outlook for your program as we sit here, hopefully just a few months away from getting back on the pitch?
Well, obviously our expectations are high and they're going to remain high. I always treat, as I think a lot of coaches do, every season is a different bird. It really is. I mean, one of the great things about coaching college sports is that, you remove a whole class every year and you bring a whole new class of kids in. So mathematically, that could be as much as 25%, a quarter of your team. And so every year really is different, and every team takes on its own identity. We're going to have only 2 seniors next year. And so the makeup of the team is going to be different. We're going to have to rely on a number of guys that didn't play as much this past year that are going to come in and have that opportunity, which is a great thing. And so we're going to have to, temper our expectations a little bit. And yet, again, in our league, and we talk about this all the time, the difference from 1st to 5th, 6th is minute. And so, we're going to come into the year next year, like every year, including last year, where I think we were picked 5th in the preseason poll. And that is to finish as high as we can, to give us the best chance to win the conference. And if not, get a place in the conference tournament where you're only 2 or 3 matches away from getting that automatic bid into the national tournament.
Everybody's in the same boat here, Coach, but obviously the COVID-19 situation has put a major crimp in what you're able to do. At this point, I know there's still question marks about whether there will be fall sports, and I won't go there, but what I will close with is just asking you, how are you keeping your team connected? How are you trying to keep your athletes, properly conditioned? Soccer is such a conditioning game. What's the status right now as we sit here, early part of May, trying to make sure that you're ready to go when August rolls around?
Well, you're right. It is a challenge. It has been a challenge. And yet we just came off what would have been our non-traditional season. So we were able to have our team Zoom meetings like a lot of teams, I'm sure, did throughout the month of April, 4 sessions a week. And it was great to connect with the guys every day in a different way, just talk the game. We were able to do some simple things like, ball skills in small spaces, whether it's down in their basement, in their driveway outside. But we give them some simple exercises to do because those touches are important anyway, and you'd want and need to get those in the off season. We obviously lost out on the game that we would have been able to play, which would have been, I think, last Saturday. And so for some of those guys that sort of were on the bubble and maybe on the bubble coming into this next year, that's a big loss for them, that playing opportunity. But again, I think everybody's in the same boat, so there'll be no excuses from our end. And like you said, it was just a great chance to connect with the guys and try to send them off into the summer with that motivation of, hey, we've still got everything to train for and everything to play for.
Again, Coach, a fantastic 2019 season. We look forward to 2020 on the pitch for the Dutch. Thanks as always for spending some time with us, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Trevor. I really appreciate it.